And we are back. Hello everyone, welcome back to 5 Minutes Code channel where I will be explaining the solution of every problem of lead code and geeks for geeks. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Today's problem is equilibrium point, which is marked as a easy level problem. Let's find out what we will be given into this problem and what we have to do. So we will be given one array ARR of integer types, and what we have to do is pretty simple. We have to find the first equilibrium point in the array. Okay, all right. Now you will be thinking, what is the equilibrium point of the array? So basically in any array, equilibrium point is that index such that the sum of elements before that index and sum of elements after that index is same, and we have to return it. Okay, all right, let's understand this with quick examples. So first one, if we will see this array 1 2 0 3, so if we take this index, which is index number 2, which whose element is 0, so the sum of elements before it is equal to 3, and the sum of element after that is also equal to 3. So this 0 is the equilibrium point, its index is second index, and I will return 2. Okay, alright, pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, let's understand this with few more examples. So if I take our array 4 1 2 2. Okay, so what is the equilibrium point here? Okay, so equilibrium point here is this 1 whose index is also 1. Why? Because sum of elements before this index and sum of elements after this index is same, which is equal to 4. So our answer will be first index. One thing you will notice here, that whatever equilibrium point we are taking, we will not consider it. We will not consider it in the left sum as well and in the right sum as well. Okay, we will not consider it. We have to leave that such that the elements before that equilibrium point and the elements after the equilibrium point sum is equal. Okay, all right. So one more case which can occur is basically 4 0 0 2 2. Okay, all right. So here what is the equilibrium point? So basically there are two equilibrium points, this 0 and this 0. Why? Because if we will take this 0, let's say the sum of elements before it and sum of elements after this is equal to 4, and if we consider this equilibrium point, then also sum of elements before it and sum of elements after this are equal. Okay, so there are two equilibrium points. In that case, what we have to do, we have to find the first equilibrium point of the array first. Okay, so first which is coming in my is this index, which is first one index. So I will simply return 1 as our answer. Okay, all right. I hope problem statement will be very clear to you, and you guys might have got the approach as well. Okay, so now let's discuss some approaches which is coming in my mind. We will start with the brute force approach. So brute force approach is pretty simple. I will use one for loop to basically reach at all the indexes. Let's suppose I reach to this index, first index. So basically, and then inside that for loop I will use two more for loops to get the sum of elements before this and sum of elements after this. Okay, and if the sum is equal, we will simply return that index. Okay, I think this approach will be pretty simple as well. So what I will do, simply use a for loop to iterate over each index, and when I'm iterating over each index, let's suppose my I is equal to this. So I will use another two for loops nested inside the first one to get the sum of element before I is, if I is pointing at any point, and sum of elements after I, and if they are equal, we will simply return that index. Okay, all right. But if we will see here, the time complexity of this will be equal to n square, because we are iterating the array once of for each element, so total time complexity will be n square. But if I will see, the array dot size is equal to 10 raised to the power 6, and I will get the time limit exceed in the brute force approach. Okay, all right. So we should try to optimize our approach. Okay, so look, one thing which is coming in my mind is basically sum of this whole array will be same. Sum of this whole array will be same every time. If at any point I can get the sum of starting elements, the sum of ending elements will be equal to the sum of starting elements minus, sum of ending elements will be equal to total sum of array elements minus sum of starting elements. Okay, all right, let's see, quickly see this as well. So if my array is, let's suppose, 4 1 2 2. Okay, so first of all, what I will do, I will try to get the sum of whole array. Okay, sum of whole array is what? 9. Okay, and this is the sum of whole array. And what I will do, I will simply iterate over each element. First of all, I get 4. So what I will do, sum of elements before this, and look, okay, this is total sum. Okay, this is total sum. And after that, I will take another variable which will be my current sum at each element. Okay, so current sum is currently equal to 0. Okay, so for this I equal to 0, which is I am currently at 4, my current sum is 0. Okay, and my total sum is 9. So is current sum equal to total sum minus current sum? Basically, look, current sum is if at any point my current sum is equal to total sum minus current sum. Basically, we have to find this point. Basically, we have to find this point. Okay, so if this is equal at any point, we have got our uh, equilibrium point. We have got our equilibrium point. Okay, so currently current sum is 0, and so that it's not possible. Okay, now I will move to next index. When I will be moving to next index, let's suppose 1, I will add the previous element to my current sum, which is equal to 4. Okay, all right. Now look, current sum is 4, total sum is 9, and this current element is 1. So if you remember the condition I wrote, if total sum, let me write it as well. Let me write it here. Total sum, okay, current sum is equal to total sum minus current sum minus ARR of I. So if this condition is true at any point, we have got our equilibrium point and we will return I. Okay, let's see this. If this condition is meeting here, current sum is 4, total sum is 9. So 9 minus 4 and ARR I, which is currently 1. So 1, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 4, and this is equal to current sum. So yes, I have got my equilibrium point and we will simply return it. Okay, it's very simple approach, and I hope it will be clear as well. But if we cannot find any equilibrium point, we will simply return -1. Okay, all right. Now let's move on to the code section. But before that, if you have loved my explanation, please subscribe the channel, comment down how was the explanation, like the video, and it will highly motivate me. So please do these things. And also I'm thinking to add more videos to post job openings every day, so that you guys can know what openings are there and apply to it quickly. Okay, so let me know if you want me to post job openings daily. I will make videos on that as well. All right, now let's simply see the code of it. So if you remember, first thing I told, I will take one variable which is equal to total sum is equal to 0. I will use a for each loop for int I of ARR, and I will simply do total sum plus is equal to I. Okay, all right, very simple till this point. After that, what I will do, I will simply iterate over this whole array again. ARR dot length I plus plus, and if you remember the condition which I told, which was equal to, okay, so now we have to take one more variable which is current sum. Current sum is basically sum till which I have iterated till that point. So look, if at any point my current sum is equal to total sum minus current sum minus ARR of I. If this is true at any point, simply return the index which I am at. Otherwise just update my current sum to take this new variable as well. So current sum plus equal to ARR of I, and that's it. And I will come out of this for loop. What I will return? -1. Basically, if I will come out of this for loop at any point, it means there is no such index. There is no equilibrium point present, and I will return -1. Let's try to submit it directly. Meanwhile, if you have loved the explanation, please subscribe the channel, like the video, and let me know if you want me to make a video on job openings daily. I will make that as well. All right, it's getting accepted. I am going to see you again tomorrow. Till then, keep on coding and bye.